New York.
Phone's on mute.
Unique.
Yeah.
Unique. New York.
Unique New York.
Unique New York.
Unique.
Unique New York.
York.
Wah.
What the fuck?
Evening, gentlemen.
Hello, how are you?
How are you, gentle?
Wow, that's a fucking anticlimactic start to how much energy was in here 3 seconds ago.
How much? How are you? Emin's back
I'm back, guys.
from his surgery.
Look, it's been a long struggle for a long part of my life, and you know it was time to make a change.
We're happy for you, mate. We're grateful.
Yeah,
we're happy the outcome came.
We're
out
happy that
like
you
like.
adjusted from 16 inches now to 20. It just wasn't enough. That
I had my appendix removed, man. What are you fucking talking about?
appendix is now your ball sack.
Appendix.
Nah, it's good to it's good to have the trio once again. Speaking about penis enlargement, Cyberpunk's out. One of the
Most anticipated game of the last 400 years.
Last 8 years.
As I walked into the studio, you know what these guys are doing?
Playing with dicks.
They were playing with their bloody
They were trying to adjust how big the character's dick was going to be. So the reason why that we found this so fascinating, I think the whole world found this fascinating, was it's one of the only, probably one of only, or if not a handful of games that actually allows you to do that to that extent.
Yeah, look, Rust just gives you generic dicks, right? But this one you can really make it big.
We're starting this podcast off very well with penises here. Nah, look, it's a game that came out yesterday or the day before, something like that.
I think the day
Is Cyberpunk
before.
on PS4?
Cyberpunk is on everything. So Xbox Series, PS4, PS5. But apparently, you on PS4 and Xbox, what is it, One? Whatever the last gen was.
One X, whatever it's
One
called.
X it was. Apparently doesn't run that great because of how heavy the game is on the console. I think it's sort of
don't even bother.
it's sort of
Even with a new generation one, like with PS5.
No, PS4
Oh, with
and
PS4.
Xbox One. So I
Even
think
if I got a Pro.
I don't know. I have it on PC.
But the game overall isn't running that well anyway with PC. I've seen some pretty funny glitches and stuff like that, which is expected in a world that's so big. But also, I think this is where it bites companies in the ass. If you've delayed this game for so long, like day one, you don't want to be seeing weird shit like that happening. You know what I mean?
But for them, I think it was because this game was considered the next generation of open world gameplay. You know what I mean? Like we're looking at our Grand Theft Autos, or Red Dead Redemptions, and going, okay, this is technically trying to rival that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Now these guys, they've been working on the game for that long, but me and Emmy were discussing it off air. It's more the glitches can be something that can be fixed by a patch. You know what I mean? I don't mind that. If it I know some people are complaining that you can't change certain sensitivities. There's certain glitches, like you said. That's all patch related. That's fine. But if it was, the story sucks and they took 8 years or 7 years to create this story, then you'd be like, shit.
Yeah,
this is a problem.
like Duke Nukem. But the thing is as well, right? People were discovering. I'll be honest. I've been really, really hyped up about this game, but I've lost track on how many times it's been moved and when it's coming out.
Yeah.
I thought it was coming out next year, and all of a sudden I started seeing on like YouTube and stuff like that, like Cyberpunk glitches and gameplay and stuff like that.
I saw it too. I'm like, it must have came out, or someone must have got like
early access.
Early access.
Yeah.
But the game came out that night. There was glitches videos. Bro, you're talking the first couple of hours of gameplay here. Like, did no one sit down and play the first 3 hours of this game?
Yeah, that's true.
But see, the difference with that would be now. The computers that these guys tested on, the simulations that these guys tested on, isn't your standard normal computers here. Do you know what I mean? Like it could generally work perfectly on most PCs. Do you know what I mean? Like you and I could play the same game and the glitch might appear somewhere completely different.
I disagree.
Why?
Because games come out with a day one patch. Yeah. And which means they do their testing very, 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 very late before release date. So if these tests were done and if a patch has been made day one, when the game comes out, you got to download a patch. It means they've discovered this and had enough time to fix it. I think that more testing needs to be done because, bro, it's become like, all right, we've got a greater standard of games now. You know, we're not playing Pac-Man on like little 16-bit games, right? I understand how much more complex these games are. But if you're bringing out a day one patch, it means you've tested this game too late to put that patch in and fix things before the game was released.
Yeah, but you also got to keep in mind, these guys are testing the games on the highest level of equipment. They're not going to go and bother and go, okay, how does it run on this graphic card and that graphic card and that graphic card and that graphic card? And you're going to have different results on every single one of them.
But
you know
I would argue that these people who are streamers, who are putting out these YouTube videos, have the top computer you can have. You know what I mean?
But usually, like Apex was an example, you can set that game to the highest resolution. The game's not going to run well on the best PCs. But when you put it to the lowest resolution, also not resolution, the lowest amount of details in the graphics, etc., the game runs better because the game's not that heavy. Now, obviously, I agree with you from the sense of your day one patches and stuff like that. But you also got to look at what the patches are. Do you know what I mean? Like, could it be something that when it was rolling out, when they were uploading, when it was downloading, when there's certain little things that they go, okay, you know what, we just missed this little thing here because we were so focused on this bigger picture here.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, stuff like that, I get. For me, as long as it's not major. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like, oh, the character does something completely different, or you can't go past a certain level, or a level is blocked.
Well, that's been happening. That's been happening. So
but that's a fix.
Missions aren't loading. You know, like one of the videos I saw, obviously, I don't know what happens in this game, but you know those videos you jump into a car and you're like looking at the other character for the mission to start, and the guy's just like this.
The cinematics, yeah.
Yeah, like it wasn't engaging that mission to start sort of thing. So
they'll fix it.
Yeah, they will. And you know what? This game has so much potential. Look, when Red Dead came out, I was very, very excited about it. And I talked to Fatih off air about this. But I always knew that with Red Dead Redemption, you were going to hit a limit. Like, how many new horses can you put in? How many new banks? Like, what can you do? Whereas GTA 5 is a great example of, dude, there's no limit. If they made, like, a new patch tomorrow, and the game's been out for, 10 years, and now you start to discover space, you jump in a rocket and you fly to space, it wouldn't be out of context for the game. You know what I mean? Whereas, bro, if you start introducing like cars into Red Dead, it's gonna throw the whole theme off.
Steam cars.
Sorry, with Steam cars. Oh yeah, but with Cyberpunk, because you've based it in a world that's futuristic, dude. Your limits are unlimited. Like you can introduce anything into this.
Well, I think, in my personal opinion, I think the people at Rockstar would be watching this game, because literally the definition of this game was the next generation of open world. Like, literally, and that's what GTA thrives off. So if for GTA 6 to be in production or to come out, they have to look at this game and go, okay, how do I beat this game now?
Yeah,
do you know
definitely.
what I mean? If that's the benchmark, do you know what I mean? Like, people can finish this game and go, this wasn't what I it doesn't hit that mark. But considering the reviews so far, people are complaining about the problems and the little glitches in here and there.
Other than the problems, how is the game? Like, I
I
haven't read any reviews.
I haven't gone past dick
The
mode.
dicks, yeah. The last thing we got to was dicks. But look, CD Projekt Red is someone that, you know, they're the developers of the game, or whoever they are.
Witcher.
They brought out Witcher 3. In my personal opinion, Witcher 3 is one of the best games I've ever played. In terms of, look, you can have open world games, and I think games thrive on how, look how big our world is. It takes you like 2.5 hours to go from one side to the other. And I'm not dissing Red Dead. Red Dead did a really good job of this. But I feel like the thing was, but the world was, it felt real. You know what I mean? You weren't just riding your horse through kilometers and kilometers of bush without seeing anything. You know what I mean? Like in Red Dead, a hare pops out, or like a kangaroo something pops out.
I kept procrastinating with that. Like, one guy would shoot me, and then I'm like, and then he'd run away, and I'd shoot him, and then I'm off track of where I was supposed to go.
But
like,
that
it's too open world.
That happens in The Witcher as well. Like, you can go on a hunt for werewolves for the next 4 hours so that you can make some certain thing. But what CD Projekt Red does really, really well, and I hope that they've done this with Cyberpunk, is they're able to introduce that open world, not make it feel like it's just an empty world and empty space, but the way they tell the story. Is there choices to be made in Cyberpunk?
Apparently so.
Their choices, especially in The Witcher 3, it wasn't just like, hey, do you want to choose this? Oh, now your shirt's going to be green forever. They actually had like circumstance, like it had real, what's the word? Consequences for your actions. Like, if you decided to do this instead of that, you would realize that someone in this town who was going to offer you 3 more missions to get more of the lore, he hangs himself. And you've run out of missions for that thing and you can't follow that storyline. So I hope that for Cyberpunk, the consequences are as grave, and I hope that there are choices to be made like that.
100%. I can't wait to play it. Like, I really can't, because again, there's been so much hype around it, and what more can you say?
Look,
you know what I mean?
your first 2 minutes of opening the game, I was impressed. Like, it looked really good. But I want to ask you something. Why did you choose to have it on PC instead of your PS5?
PC is always better graphics. That's just what it is. For me, I think the whole open world element, the way that I've seen console and PC after I got my PC is that I feel like sports, maybe car racing and all that type of stuff is console. Like FIFA, for example, NBA, you got your Forzas and your Gran Turismos and etc. On PC, it's gonna be absolute freaking horrible. It's horrible. No one's gonna WASD and you just sit like this and moving your mouse.
You don't have that aspect of control in a way because a mouse key, a keyboard key just goes down, whereas you have triggers and stuff that on controller.
For me, first-person shooters and open-world games like this, I think, it's just more PC. Do you know what I mean? The graphics are going to be better. The ability to control everything is so much better. The ability for, like, the frame rates per second is even better. Do you know what I mean? Like, this game is capped on PlayStation, while on PC... What is the cap? I don't
You're
even
limited to what your hardware can handle.
Exactly right. Like people are going, oh, we're playing Cyberpunk on 4K on PlayStation. Yeah, but you're playing at 60 frames per second, which is going to look fucking horrible. Do you know what I mean? While on PC, you can run this game all on 2K and hit 200-300 frames per second, and that game is just going to be so smooth on your monitor pretty much. So that's why I went with PC more. Just limitless, man. As soon as I opened the game and you were there, it was just everything ultra. You know what I mean? On PlayStation, it's gonna be Do you know what I mean? And they're saying that the game sucks on PlayStation 4 and what was it, Xbox Series something? No, Xbox One X, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to wait and see. I will give a proper review hopefully next week, but I think it's gonna take a bit longer than that to find out the game.
I wish I had more time to play it. I'd be getting it.
One thing I actually read this week, boys, and I'll probably get your opinion on this. It's so Facebook Facebook, the whole thing in general, is being sued by the US government. Now I shouldn't say absolutely, but they've got a massive lawsuit from the FTC and along with 40 plus different other states, saying that Facebook is too monopolized within the social or within their social media world, if you want to call it. They're judging it based on their purchase of Instagram and WhatsApp. Okay, so I think they bought Instagram for $1 billion at the time, and then they bought WhatsApp for $19 billion or something like that when they originally bought them. Now, the reason why they're complaining is because Facebook now controls pretty much every aspect of every platform that pretty much exists. Their rivals literally everyone. So if you look at it, you're rivaling Snapchat because Facebook has their own type of story where you can do whatever you want to it.
Yep.
They own Instagram, they own WhatsApp. Now we got TikTok that's come out, but if you think about it, Instagram's now got Reels because that's just an automatic rival. Now, for them, they see TikTok and then they go, okay, that's a new app. Everyone's on this app. But the moment they roll out that feature on Instagram, they automatically have 1 billion people that's already using Instagram.
That's exactly what I was going to say. You want to talk about rivaling? If TikTok has any pool, like I'm on Instagram. I don't use TikTok very often, but you see TikTok videos on Instagram, but you don't see Instagram videos on TikTok. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Good point.
So, like, people are realizing that there is this avenue for TikTok, but a way to gain followers is still to use the Instagram way of, social media.
But what I wanted to get your view on, like I agree with exactly what you just said, I mean, because I see more TikTok videos on Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, the FTC is complaining about this, but they're the ones that have approved it. So when they went and bought Instagram, they had to approve it. Yeah. So sort of like the ACCC in Australia.
Yep.
They went and approved it, and they said, yeah, that's fine.
The FTC won't let me be.
They won't let me be. They now they're backtracking. And now Facebook's pretty much saying that this affects all businesses across every single, like anyone that's registered in America pretty much. Mm-hmm. Because now when you buy a business, for example, say you own a trucking business or you own something, do you know what I mean? In the years to come...
He knows my career.
I know he does. No, but what I'm trying to say is, imagine it comes a point where they just suddenly go, I know you bought this company 10 years ago, but now that you're succeeding too much, we can't let you have that.
Yeah.
It's a bit ironic.
That's exactly right.
I mean, it's a capitalistic country, capitalism. Pretty much. I mean, like, so is there a set bar as to, like, how much you can buy. So it's like, oh, now you got too much, mate. You got to share it around. So now we're becoming socialist.
Look, I was gonna say that the reason why the FTC is bringing this is because they didn't get something they wanted.
It's either that or Zuckerberg has just pissed someone off.
Yeah.
He's
Like
literally-
someone's not happy. That's why it's happened.
It could
like,
be.
Sorry.
No.
If you're approving of Facebook buying Instagram, for example, you know exactly what's going to happen.
Oh yeah.
So if you're going back on it, it's because you're not happy with something. You haven't gotten a cut. They haven't, done something that you asked for them to in terms of like what wasn't written on paper or something like that. Someone is not happy. That's why it's happening.
Yeah.
How is the government able to go, look, you're monopolizing pretty much this industry or whatever you want to call it, the, I don't know, internet industry.
The
sector,
sector.
yeah.
Now, what's the goal of the government?
Bro, it's to protect you, to be honest.
That's true.
To an extent.
To an extent, but let's look at Woolies, for example, right? Let's say if Woolies bought out all Coles, all of their competitors, Harris Farm, whoever they would consider as a competitor. But if there's nobody who's competing against them, then you
dictate the price.
You dictate the price.
Yeah.
You dictate everything.
Control the
You
market.
dictate what brands you're bringing in. Blah blah. Right. So, in essence, the government is trying to protect the consumer.
Yeah. It's actually happened or tried to happen a few times here. I know, without going into further details, because it is sort of in the industry that I work with. I know someone who applied for the logistical contracts of Coles and Woolworths.
Yeah.
And it was straight away it was denied because you're literally
supplying all the supermarkets in Australia.
Pretty much exactly right.
Yeah.
It also happened recently. I think it was last year, the year before. I could have this wrong, but I think it's one way or the other. I think BP tried to buy Caltex.
Whoa.
Back in the days, and then when they came out and they said, well, when the ACCC looked at that, they said we can't let that have it because then you're pretty much going. I think it was
Control the prices of fuel.
Not in that, you're controlling your demand on the roads, because imagine Caltex just suddenly got replaced with all BP petrol stations. I think it was. I'm adamant that it was those two. And all you're going to see on the road is BP, Shell.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? And it's going to be like, okay, well, why would I bother going to Shell? To Shell when I'm going to have more BPs on the road. I should join their rewards program because there's more chances that I'm going to go to them. Then if they literally, like you just said, dictate the petrol prices as well, it's a game over on the market.
At the same time, it's hypocritical. You know why? If you're protecting a consumer, right? Me personally, I feel safe if a government is monitoring something, right? So, for example, Sydney Trains, right? When it was City Rail, I knew it was government owned, right? Which meant that the government was supposed to look at the best interest of the consumer. But then you go and privatize these companies, So it's sort of hypocritical that you want to protect the consumer, but at the same time you want to take complete power away from the government's view, I don't know how to say it, influence on a certain industry by privatizing it.
But with respect as to what you're saying, I'm 99% sure they make agreements with that sale. So even though they privatize that industry, I'm sure the government makes an agreement with that private company saying, blah, blah, you can't do this, you can't increase price by this, or you can't reduce services because it's not making enough money. You need to provide for these demands that we need for public transport, like just to provide it. I'm sure it's like that, like especially considering that they've sold off certain energy.
Especially energy,
Yeah,
like
you know
you
what I
think
mean?
that out of all things, energy is, monitored by a government organization, but they're obviously all privatized. So
now I was reading an article because they were talking about Australia boycotting Chinese products and stuff like that. Energy Australia was one of them. They were bought by a Chinese company a couple of years ago, and they're saying now to boycott them because of all the Chinese thing. But we talked about that last week, but just trying to stick on the topic as well. We can get to China as well.
Dude, if that's the case, look, sorry, I'm bringing us sort of back in, but I'm an electrician, obviously, and Clipsal, which is like considered the highest grade of products you can buy, or one of them, they were Australian manufactured, and people knew they were quality because they were Australian manufactured and Australian owned. But then they go and they sell it overseas. I know that these are privately owned companies, but if you want to stop that from happening, maybe you stop it at the source and refuse. I don't know if you can do that. I know it goes both ways, a two-ended street here, but don't allow so many companies to be sold off. I mean, Arnott's is one of them. Like, Arnott's was an Australian company, and then you sold it off. And then you want to boycott it to the people you sold it to.
I agree. No, I do agree from that aspect, because at the time it's considered happy and friendly because everyone's getting paid.
That's
and then
right.
now when the federal politic part kicks in, it's more like, oh, well, what am I supposed to do? You know what I mean? Like they sort of fall into a two-ended sword there. Do I go with the company because I've got financial gain, or do I stick with my company and get hurt financially?
That's true. And if you think about it in a bigger picture, China's almost a monopoly of the world, right?
Exactly.
Or like, not just China, but I'm talking governments with lots and lots of money, because they can go and buy whichever company they want that's already established. They already know what profits they're making, blah, blah, and like they're able to do it and create more profits because they're paying their labor so much less. You know what I mean? So in a big picture, there are countries out there who monopolize.
No, there is. There's even if you look at certain companies, I remember back in the days, this was 90 something, when Microsoft tried to do something similar as well, and the FTC denied them as well, because they were literally owning the market at the time. But when it comes down to, say, if you compare like Facebook's issue with, say, China's issue and stuff like that, it's a bit harder to compare the differences.
Of course.
But look, coming back to the Facebook one, I'll ask you guys, because this lawsuit's going to drag for ages, because Facebook has all the money in the world to fight this in how many different types of courts if you wanted. And they're not going to just go, okay, we'll just sell Instagram and sell WhatsApp. Do you know, Facebook's not going to do that. And I think in my personal opinion, I think what we will start to see is I think we discussed this maybe a few episodes ago, or possibly off air. Facebook rolling out what their original intention is. Get rid of all these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different apps. You have pretty much one mega app.
It'd be easy. I don't have to scroll through all the other bloody apps, bro. Go through Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat.
It'll definitely reduce people's shitting time.
Unless they're having KFC.
Because, can I be devil's advocate? All right.
No, you can't.
You just answered your own question.
No, but honestly, how can you, in a capitalistic country, or how can I say, an environment, society, how can they expect the guy to be successful, like create all these avenues to Facebook, all right? Create all this success, whether it took, how long has it taken, 10, 20 years now?
Yeah, roughly around that.
Around that time period. And now it's like, all right, it's too much now. Like, how can you put a stop to, you know, whatever they're doing? Like, are they really doing anything illegal? Like, besides obviously controlling the market, which is like, it's not directly like.
I know what you're trying to say. See, I think all this started with the elections. When Facebook became to be something.
When it became a problem.
That's right. When Facebook became, you know what it is? A good example is Fortnite. Do you know what I mean? I know this is going to be such a stupid example at the beginning, but I'm going to.
I know where you're going with this.
You know how you build walls in Fortnite?
Okay.
No. But the original intention wasn't that. Do you know what I mean? When the developers created it, they didn't expect it to become this.
Yeah.
Like what the game currently is, where everyone just, you know, and just building all this shit around. Facebook's become that. Facebook said, we're going to become a social media platform. And then they didn't realize
that they were going to bring out their own currency and blah, 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 and blah, blah.
The cryptocurrency. Oh, we're going to have that much influence on elections. We're going to have that much influence on what people buy, what people sell, how people speak to each other, the amount of negative responses that's possibly going to go through. And then if, like, from a football perspective, now you got half of Africa giving ideas on freaking Barclays Premier League, not Barclays, for the Premier League and stuff like that.
I like that.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just, that's what I mean. Like, to that extent of what's happened for Facebook, where look how much they're controlling now. So I think the FTC is going, man, we stuffed up. Now we're going backwards.
I agree with Inan in a certain way. It's like, bro, if Facebook has done this, good on them. Genius. You want to talk about capitalistic society? If they've done it, good. You don't want them to be a monopoly? Dude, make something as good that becomes a rival to it. There's not going to be anything. And the problem is, and I see where the FTC comes into this, is that any rival is going to be bought anyway.
Yeah.
Which is what they're saying.
Yeah. So, like, I understand, dude, they made a system that works. They did it when no one else was thinking about it. Dude, Facebook came in, Bebo died, MySpace died. You know, like once Facebook came, what was it, like 2007, 2008? When I jumped on
when
anyway.
we started to receive, it was
it would have been like
2006,
2 years after school.
No,
Because I remember I was still going to Bebo when I was in Turkey. In 08.
Oh, Bebo was still around.
Bebo was still around.
So like 09, maybe 10?
Nah, I was on at 07,
I was
I think
on 07,
08.
yeah.
Yeah.
Facebook?
I was in year 12. Just
I remember
towards the end of year
Facebook was all the old people. That's why.
No, it became old people later. Like
Now all the mature people.
No,
on
when I
Facebook,
was
'cause
teaching-
Bebo was still
yeah,
teenage.
it was. Bebo was more centered towards gangers and young people. But, now when I was teaching, I'd speak to people and it's like, oh, who has Facebook? That's all for old people.
Yeah, I get
That's
that.
become.
I
the
still
old
use
person
Facebook,
thing.
bro. Facebook is good.
But do you know? But the difference is, we saw Facebook when it was the wall. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
It was, what are you doing?
Yeah,
That's
and
what
I
Facebook
still get my
was.
Yeah,
reminders.
yeah.
It goes,
Yeah.
you have a memory from 11 years ago, and it's like, is feeling sick.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
all those like.
Yeah, bro.
I needed to tell people
Yeah,
this.
it would often like I'd have to stop myself like, oh, I'm going for a run, you know,
Yeah.
like stupid things like that. Like it's
Yeah.
unnecessary.
I'm at the movies. Oh, hashtag this. Do you know what I mean? Like that's what Facebook was. My view, not my view. My doings on my profile. That's all it was.
Yeah.
But now you jump on, it's memes businesses. That's literally it.
Yeah,
Memes
yeah.
and business.
And I think Instagram, when it initially came out, my personal thing is that Instagram was so much more business than Facebook was, right? It'll be like all these people were trying to promote their
Yeah.
new,
It's
bag
a
brand
tool,
or blah,
man.
blah. But then Facebook caught up and it's overtaken. And for those people, 10 years ago or 20 years ago, like my dad's worked in advertising most of his life in one form or another. You know, they used to talk about advertising is dead. No, it's just taken on a massive platform that's called social media. And it's so crazy with these algorithms. Bro, let's talk about something random today and I'll put it up on our story on Facebook or Instagram tonight. We can talk about like camel boots, right? Camel boots. And I'm going to get all these camel Ugg boots popping up on my thing now. Like,
No.
conspiracy theory?
I don't think it's got anything to do with that. It's just more along the lines they've got they got an army of data analysts, man.
Yeah, right.
That work for Facebook and that work in third-party companies and stuff like that. These guys, like, you guys, what's that TV show on Netflix, man? The Social Dilemma. All right, so they speak to people that used to work for Google, used to work for Facebook, Twitter, and et cetera, and they explain to you sort of what Facebook is doing or what social media companies are doing, like in regards to your data, and how valuable and how strong that certain little things are. Do you know what I mean? Like if you actually sit back and look at your actual Facebook, yes, they know where you live without giving you address.
Not delete all that info.
No, you don't need to delete it.
No, your phone tracks that.
Not only that, you're uploading from your house
Yeah,
most of
that's
the time.
true.
You're liking from your house. They got your address. All right. They know where you eat. They know where you shop. Why? Because you're either checking in or your GPS is getting rerouted from there when you're on Facebook from those areas.
Bro, stay in a
I
restaurant.
changed that. That's not Facebook. It's Google.
It's Google.
But Facebook still has the app. Receives the data, because when you download and install the data, you give access to pretty much everything on your phone.
I guess.
Then when you look at Facebook, you take a photo. Okay, you're gonna add it at somewhere. They go, okay,
It's already there.
Inan's already gone there once. Oh, we realized Inan's gone here 6 times. It must be regular for Inan. Put that there. What's around here? Oh, we have a business here that I'm giving a very shit example here. Okay, Inan goes to Maryland's and does
Dildo Plus.
Dildos Plus. All right, but next to
favourite
Dildos
store.
Plus is a childcare center. Inan just had a child. You know what I mean? And then they go, okay.
Get your dildos and your child watched.
So they go, okay, let's put this ad on Inan. Because you know why? Because he's close to it, he's around it, he does this. I mean, eats here very often, but there's other places here that's paid us ad revenue to go, okay, we'll put this ad right in front of his next feed. Let's see if he likes this.
Yeah.
He likes Thai food. Like this. It works like
Yeah.
that. Do you know what I mean? And we're sitting there going, like, what makes me laugh is the people that go, I'm above the system. It absolutely makes me laugh, where people go, oh, you know what, I know so much about conspiracies and governments, and I'm above the game, and I'm not a sheep, I'm not this. Yet you're posting on Instagram, Facebook, you're talking through WhatsApp, use Gmail, your life revolves around Google or being Microsoft, Apple. You're fucked.
Look, a very clear example. I have friends who refuse to be on social media, but they have fake Facebook accounts so they can use Marketplace. Like, you can try and stay away from it as much as you want, but
Do I know them?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But
Flops.
what's it called? You're trying to stay away from it, but you really can't in a way as well. Like, hats off to those people who don't have social media, because I've tried to delete mine and got
They're
bored.
stubborn,
so.
bro. They're stubborn.
Bro,
Like-
there's genuinely people who don't need that. Like me personally, I don't need social media more than some people around me. I see people, bro, in social gatherings, they can't stay away from
Yeah.
their Instagram feed
Yeah.
for 3
So
minutes. Whereas if I don't go on my Instagram for 3 days, I wouldn't give a fuck.
Yeah, but that's because your life doesn't roll, like, it doesn't connect with Instagram. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But if you were to disconnect from WhatsApp for a while, you're gonna start to go, well, how is my fam? How is this person?
That's right.
How is
That's
that
right.
person?
That's
That's
right.
That's your
Yeah.
connection.
With
there.
respect to what you're saying, WhatsApp is different to Facebook. It's not really social media. It's more of a connective
Yeah,
device.
that's true. But
You know what I mean?
I want to ask you a question from a business point of view, right? There's almost no point of Facebook having WhatsApp because they've got their own messenger platform.
Nah, I disagree because, bro, my work and I communicate through WhatsApp.
Yeah, but you can do it through Facebook.
See the difference between the difference between
And it's more private because no one has anyone's numbers. Sorry if I...
which is what that's what it comes down to. What do you value as privacy? Your phone number or your
your
Facebook?
Facebook
yeah,
profile.
that's true.
Facebook has more data than just a
than
phone
your
number.
Facebook, yeah.
A phone number I can
That's
always
right.
I can always just block someone.
Because
But my Facebook I can't block every single
Exactly.
photo. This
Yeah.
guy's gonna be like, oh, this guy does nothing for a living, but I'm speaking
you
to him
can't
on
put
WhatsApp.
up what you're doing
That's
on
right.
the day
But
to
look,
WhatsApp. That's
to
the
be
difference.
fair, if you're a private person who gives a shit about people putting your photo, like seeing your photos,
Yeah.
don't put it up in the first place. You're putting it into a public space in the first
Yeah.
place.
But this all falls down again to what avenue of life you live. Do you know what I mean? Like for us, I'm probably on the same boat as Emin here, which is I don't need to look at Instagram. I don't have a use for Instagram. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But I know some people who can't live without looking at Instagram. Why? Because they do look at that foodery place that they're going to go to. They do like to keep up to date with certain news elements that they only like through Instagram. Do you know what I mean?
The
Ins-
most reliable source.
the most reliable source. But when it comes down to it falls down to your platform. Do you know what I mean? Like for us, Twitter. See, I'm not a fan of. I shouldn't say I'm not a fan of Twitter.
I
don't
never
use
get on
Twitter.
Twitter.
I think it's great, and I see what people do, especially in terms of education. I mean, there's some really good stuff out there for education in terms of the stock market. There's some really good
Yeah.
information. It just doesn't fit my lifestyle. I find it boring to follow people just to find out like paragraphs and paragraphs of writing. You know what I mean? It's almost like a newspaper to me,
Yeah.
Twitter.
But Twitter's capped. So Twitter's character is
Like
capped.
40.
But no, it's like 140 or
Oh, is it?
180.
Yeah, but it's
something like
always
that.
linked to one of their websites or
Yeah.
something like
that's
that.
right. But with Twitter, what I found is Twitter is more news friendly. Do you know what I mean? Like Facebook, on the other hand, it doesn't. Like Facebook hasn't come. It has, but it hasn't. Where if you find a certain story, to find out everything relevant to it, it's more a few clicks away rather than Twitter has trending.
Yeah, that's
And then you
true.
go bang, boom, all the information you need.
Bro, and Facebook in terms of like, bro, when you go on Facebook, you look at a video, you swipe down, you see another one. Dude, they're not related at all. Like,
But
you
that-
could be watching a video on pizza and the next one's about how to fix your car. But I know that's
Yeah,
catered
I love
to-
that. I get lost in that shit.
But that's Inan said that on point. He gets lost in that shit. That's what they want because
Yeah.
then they start. But the moment that happens, they're already starting to collect data on you.
No,
Because
no,
It's
no,
like, oh, Apex.
Yeah.
He watched this for 2 minutes. He does like it. We're gonna send him a mechanic video.
Yeah.
He only watched 3 seconds of it. He's not interested.
No, I'm not saying, like, I agree with Inan. That's for people, but I was bringing it to the point of Twitter not being like
Oh,
that.
yeah, Twitter's
Twitter,
not like
you
that.
don't click onto one thing and then it leads to another thing that's not related. You know what I mean? Like, if you're looking at stock tips, it will be like, you may want to follow this person who also does stock tips. Or,
Yeah.
like, it sort of categorizes everyone together, whereas Facebook is really open where it goes.
But that's what it comes down to. Look what Facebook has evolved to. You know what I mean? And it's not Facebook. It is Facebook doing things, but it's the people. The people is why Facebook is what it is today.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, people can just stop uploading memes, but do you know what I mean? They can just stop. They can literally just stop.
Yeah.
And then Facebook becomes boring. But
Yeah.
what does Facebook do? They try to keep you interested. They go, okay, you're running a 2 million page thing. We'll monetize it for you.
Yeah.
Run this ad, run this, and then it engages people to do so. Then they did that into Instagram because before Facebook bought Instagram, nothing like ad revenue existed.
Yeah.
Where Kim Kardashian was getting $1 million per freaking Instagram post. It didn't exist.
Yeah.
Facebook made that what it became. Do you know what I mean? Then they started to roll those little ads out in every photo and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So Coming back to the thing, and we'll just close it up if you guys want. I think like when that Facebook FTC, I don't think anything's gonna happen.
Nah, Zuckerberg's too powerful.
He's the 5th richest individual in the world, and the guy's.
I would
30?
say he's the most influential though.
Unless
I don't
they
think he's
assassinate him. You heard it here first.
You know.
He's gonna die.
No way.
We're not making any threats to Mark Zuckerberg, but I'm just.
Nah, take it however you want. He's gonna die. He's
I'm
gonna
the
die.
devil, bitch. What?
But look, I don't think he's I don't think he's that influential.
I don't
his
think so.
platform
No,
is heavily
that's what I mean.
influential,
I
yeah.
wasn't saying him personally. There's too much on his platform. Facebook is the number 1 influencer in the whole world.
You know what's gonna happen? He's just gonna go, oh, this senator's thing. He's just gonna go on his computer. Senator, this. Oh, this is what you get up to on your private profile.
25 hard man
Oh.
orgy.
You sent some nudes. Oh, you
That's
need a
it.
penis
And he's
enlargement.
gonna go, Senator. You know when he does those. Have you seen his when he got
Yeah.
called up to the Senate? It's just like this. And
It's just like a
Senator,
robot.
I don't believe that it's gonna be like this, and it's just gonna roll out all these nude pics of the senators and.
Because well done to him. You know what? He created something. Obviously, it wasn't single-handedly him. Like in the middle part of
The beginning part,
establishing. I mean, obviously he had a part to play, and then we've heard the story of him and his other partners.
Eduardo Suarez.
And like good on him, bro. Like, you know, government's always gonna hate on private sectors, you know, whatever you want to call it, and they want to always divide these little monopoly or these massive monopolies. Like, fuck them, fuck the government. I'm not anti-government, but I don't like government. I don't like authority in the first place. So.
Mr. No Authority.
Nah, bro.
I know what you're trying to say. Look, at the end of the day, the guy created a platform. Look, again, it's as simple as this for me. The man created a platform with his friends, etc., etc. We
And
all
look
know
what
the
it grew
story.
into. Good on him.
The FTC approved Instagram and
Yep.
WhatsApp. Now you're trying to
I
backtrack.
know.
You look like pretty much,
the
you look like
FCC
shit, and deal with it.
Bro, in the end of the day, it just shows you how stupid capitalism is. You know, it only works for them. You know, it's only good for them when it works for them.
I think it's how stupid people is.
No, I'm gonna go back to capitalism. No,
But-
because bro, what did they do until now that's so illegal or that's such an issue for the government? You know what I mean? Like, obviously, I can see the bigger issue is the monopolization and them controlling that massive sector. All right. Other than that, it's like, but it's
It's only social media. You're still
Yeah,
going to be able to eat
exactly.
and drink and buy your petrol.
they're not you know, chaining people up and using them as slaves, or they're not promoting, you know, prostitution or illegal behavior.
I don't know, bro. Every time you post on Facebook, some guy gets probed. Like, hit the accept button.
But you know, you get the gist of what I'm saying. You know, this guy's become successful, or his organization's become successful, and now you just want to hate on him.
I agree.
Like,
I agree.
like in the end of the day, I'm playing both sides. You
No,
know, I'm hating on the government and Facebook.
I understand. Like, look, FTC and whoever the Australian body was, ACCC. If my Coke
Is it FTC or
and
FCC?
my burgers are becoming more
FTC.
expensive, then fucking get involved. But if Facebook wants to buy some other thing that's going to make my life easier, then fuck off.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Fuck off, AFC.
Fuck off.
Just get fucked, mate.
Moving on, gents. Going to the sport we both love, or all three of us love, NRL, and their new laws or new rules, I
Yeah,
should
how
say.
boring
that
is
came
it with our NRL, man?
out. I
It's
got
still
Premier,
good, bro.
I got
It's
Premier League.
Premier League.
I don't know.
Champions League.
I want to get your views on these rules, and we'll give out a few of them to you guys just to see how you guys perceive this. Now, field goals usually worth 1 point will now be worth 2 points if taken
I
more
think
than 40 meters
Great
out.
idea. Great idea. Because it gives
Gives an excitement level.
yeah, to us as a fan, it provides that excitement, of course, but it also it challenges the players. Instead of going, all right, run it forward, get as much as you can. Instead, it's just a simple. That's it. Yeah, I mean, I'm 40 meters. Yeah, just go for it. You know what I mean? It's either gonna be great or it's gonna make us laugh.
It's a shit rule. It's going to turn into rugby union. Have you ever watched a game of rugby union? It's kick.
Yeah, I don't
kick,
mind rugby
bar.
union,
Nah,
to be
bro.
honest.
It's going to shit on the game.
But the difference between rugby union is they kick on the full.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now it's going to be walk to the 40-meter line, take the 2 points. Walk to the 40-meter line, take 2 points.
Yeah, but it's not that easy, though. Think about it. These guys are missing out from 10, 15 meters away.
Yeah, and they suck for it, bro.
Yeah,
like,
bro.
How do you become a professional football player and you can't fucking drop kick a ball? What the fuck's wrong with you? Like, I've done it when I was coaching, when I was in school. Bro, I've taken kicks from the sideline, drop kicking them, and I was getting them. And I've never played a game of professional footy in my life.
But you know what? From 40 meters out, that's pretty hard, man. Like, there's
Yeah,
only a selected amount of players that can do this.
I'm G'd up.
You're talking about your Clearys, your Cherry Evans, your Adam
Moses.
Reynolds.
Moses.
Moses will hit the post. But you're looking at these types of plays where it's like, but what's going to fall down to is this 2 point. It's going to be more games on the line sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine this? Can you imagine your team's down by 1, NRL Grand Final. You're on the 50-meter line. It's your last play.
Have a crack, son.
Do you go for that crack or do you make the play? Do you know what I mean? Like, and that guy
he shuffles it up.
and he gets it in. Like,
Yeah.
that's excitement level.
Yeah, but
I think it's exciting.
Yeah.
Well,
It goes both ways, man. Like, we already have that excitement. Last minute, blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah. Do you go for the field goal and draw up the game, or do you go for...
I agree.
I don't think it adds anything extra. It's going to become a game that's more focused on kicking.
Because...
And then... Sorry.
No,
and
no.
then there's the whole thing of you miss the penalty and then you give the other team 7 tackles.
No, you know what it is too? It provides that excitement. So, all right, you're 10 minutes, you're going into, what's it, sudden death, golden goal or golden point. Oh, but then they win automatically. So regardless, say before the 80 minutes is up, the guys, the opposition team's already kicked for the 1 point. Bro, it gives an opportunity to go for the 2 and win the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It provides that.
Yeah.
It doesn't make the game go into a deadlock and go, all right, that's it, scored. They're going to kick off now. They've won the game.
At the
Instead,
same
it gives that
time,
opportunity.
I think that it takes away so much from having a good kicker like Cleary, right? Because conversions aren't going to be worth much. It's like you can make up for it, take a kick on the 40 and make up the 2 points.
Okay, I never
Look,
thought about that.
Like, it's
Say
40
again.
meters out.
Say it again.
Because, like, when you have a good kicker like Nathan Cleary
Yeah.
converting a try,
Yeah.
those 2 points are vital,
'Cause
right?
you can
But if you miss the 2 points now, it's going to be like, it's all right, bro, we can take a kick from 40 and try our
Yeah,
luck.
exactly. The strategy change. But then again, because it's an...
But that's a big gamble.
Yeah, bro.
That is a massive gamble that I'm talking about.
Bro, it's not going to be. Do you know why? Let's think about football, right? If you have a player who can take free kicks from 25 yards out, 30 yards out, it's a big bonus for your team, right? So what do? Every training session, you've got that 1 or 2 players taking 30-meter kicks. Training's just going to turn into these guys taking kicks from 40 meters out. And every team's just going to have someone who can kick from 40.
Yes, but you still, again, let's compare football here. Yes, Beckham still missed. Messi still misses. Ronaldo still misses.
They're going to
Pressure,
miss.
pressure.
They're
That's
going to
what I'm
miss. But at the same time, in soccer, you're trying to stick it in a little frame with a goalkeeper there. In rugby league, you got posts that go up to the fucking moon.
You got posts that go up to the moon, but you don't have 12 people running at you waiting to break your hip in half.
Because, in all honesty,
but
I think
It's
unnecessary.
It's unnecessary.
It is
There's no
unnecessary.
need for it.
Like, it's gonna be like I'm sitting on the fence and saying it's gonna be exciting. Yeah, it's unnecessary. It was like they went in, guys, what can we do to just make people pissed?
Let's make it
You know what I
yeah.
mean? How can we piss these people off?
That's what I'm saying. I don't think it adds enough to the game to
Yeah.
change a rule that's been the same rule for the last 100 years in
I
rugby
agree.
league.
Maybe they're just gonna trial it out. Who knows?
You guys going to be like this when Moses scores the 2.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. That's why I'm on the fence, because I'm like, bro, this could work in my favor. You know what I mean?
We're just
'Cause
going for
how
twos
many
the whole
games did
game.
we win this season? 1 point a game, or just like sudden game. We won
Bro,
by a couple of points.
we have one player on our team who knows how to field goal kick.
Gufferson.
He's done 1 in his career, 2 in his career. No one else has.
I trust Gufferson with my
No one
life.
else
Because
has.
I would let my...
If anything, this rule
I'll let him
works
hold my
against
kids. Like, let him hold
While
my kids
he's
and
doing
run.
it, while he's doing the drop kick, while he's taking the field goal.
Didn't he miss the first one?
Doesn't matter.
Exactly. Exactly.
Doesn't matter.
This rule does not work in Parramatta's favour. In fact, nothing works in our favour for the last 40 years. Like,
All right, let's go to the second one that I can see here. If the ball or a player carrying the ball goes over the sideline, play will be restarted via play the ball rather than a scrum.
agreed. Fuck the scrum off. It's such a waste of time.
I like
bro,
scrum.
heads in the scrum. Oh, not out. You're too early. Penalty. Oh, bro, you're feeding it in the back line
bro,
anyway.
You know why I like scrums? Because Parramatta were the ones to actually utilise scrums, especially
Yeah.
when they got the ball. Like, if the offensive team, the opposition team got the scrum in their favour, they often surprised them by pushing them forward, and they stole the ball back.
Yeah, happened
they did
once.
I did a couple of times, bro. And I was so happy because they would always go in strong. Always going strong. I know it happened at least more than 2-3 times, and it was in crucial times of the game as well.
I remember the ones.
Yeah.
You're talking about. But
Yeah,
I don't know
so
if that was
like-
last season or
like
the season
it's
before
kind of a shit rule because they should enforce the scrum a lot more, honestly. But now I don't know why they play the scrum
Bro,
out
do you
like
know what
little
it
girls.
takes out of the game as well? How many scrums do you have a game? 20 scrums? Bro, every time, shot clock. Waste 20 seconds,
Yeah.
shot clock, heads in,
So
boys.
yeah.
Bro, the ball gets fed in the... Bro, if you're going to put a scrum, by definition, well, what it was originally, you put the ball in the middle and you fight for it.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, you're sticking it... Like, bro, half the time, it doesn't even go in. It comes out of
Comes
the
out
one
the
person.
one
That's
guy,
it,
yeah,
done.
yeah, yeah.
Like, bro, get rid of it. Piss off the scrum clock. Piss off the time wasting. Bro, just touch the ball and go on. It makes no difference.
See, for me, the only reason why I'm a fan of the scrum to begin with is it gives your team a break. Gives your team that break.
Yeah, that's it.
But now you got to keep in mind, if this game keeps going like this, our forwards are going to be dead.
Good, the game evolves, bro, because if you
Yeah.
look at the 80s, everyone was 150 kilos, just full of fat. And then they sped up the game. What happened? They became proper athletes. They're muscular.
right.
They know how to run. You introduce
And now
this
they're
rule,
doing
what's
ACLs.
going to happen is they're going to turn into AFL players. But
Yeah, bro.
but
It's going
still,
too
like,
fast now.
It's bringing up, it's challenging your athletes. Bro, these guys are athletes at the end of the game. And this is what I'm talking about. If you've played football since under fives and you can't kick the ball on a drop kick from 40 meters out, there's something fucking wrong with you.
But
If
cuz
you
it's
can't-
not that. Like, imagine Papali or Junior Paulo or like David Clemmer running at you. Like,
Yeah, but cuz
bro,
let
the
him run.
game's on the line. He's got nothing but you in his sight. He's gonna damage you.
Bro, do you know what they're going to do?
Cuz if I had
No, no,
that
no.
pressure on me,
Because
I would fall
there's going to
too.
be zero pressure. I'll tell you why. The ball's going to be played on the 20-meter line. They're going to pass the ball back 20 meters for him to take the kick. Bro, the forward's never going to reach him. I don't give a fuck how big and fast you are. Bro, this tactic is going to be moved. Sorry, we're coming back to the kick. But
That's all right.
it's going to be moved so that it works in their favor. It already happens. When they're taking a drop kick, they're not passing at 3 meters. They're passing 15 meters back to give that guy time.
Yeah.
Like,
And they still miss.
and they're still
Yeah,
missing.
that's what I mean, cuz.
Because I'm not saying they're going to get every kick. I just think it's a thing. I think that there's no point for the rule change. Whereas the scrum, I completely agree with it. Yeah, bro, there's still going to be time to rest. You know why? They're going to kick the ball. The other team, by the time they tap the ball, they're going to take 40 seconds.
It
You know what I mean? Depends what rule they put in.
Depends on the status of the game as well.
Yeah. And that's a good thing. Your team's down. You notice that you've been... Because when do they kick it out? When they're under pressure, to get out of pressure, right?
Yeah.
They're kicking when they're in pressure, when they're tired.
when they just wanna
right?
slow the
Your
game down.
team's down. They take a quick tap. You're running at a tired defense again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think it adds so much to the game to take the scrum out. The only thing I do like about the scrum is that you're teaching teams to defend with less players. You've got most of your people in the scrum. You know, Melbourne did it in the grand final against... No, it wasn't Melbourne. In the semi-final, one of the teams was doing it where they were just targeting that side that had no one on it. Yeah. You know, like, I like
know what
that
you're talking
aspect about it.
I forgot which game it was.
I can't remember. They did it 3 times in the
and
one
they
game.
scored.
And like, it's good that you're bringing in that different aspect of the game, but I think that the scrum is just a waste of time. Bro, the scrum, they've moved it around so much. What was the rule introduced last year? You can take a scrum wherever you want, blah, blah. They're really trying to keep it because I understand that this is, you know, a vital backbone to what the game originally was, but I think it's just a waste of time.
Let me connect it to another law or rule that involved the scrum. Players will be penalised for leaving a scrum early before the referee calls break.
Wait, so when are we having scrums?
When the scrum happens.
But if a player runs out, there's no scrums?
Yeah, they're just saying that when a player runs, if the ball or a player carrying the ball goes over the sideline, the player will be restarted via play the ball rather than a scrum.
So when is a scrum actually played?
So when is a scrum? Again.
Well, knock on. A knock-on would be a scrum.
Regardless of when. What do you reckon? Penalised for leaving a scrum early before the referee calls break.
Just fuck off the scrum and there's no problem. But
No.
I want the scrum.
I like the scrum.
I like the scrum. I like
why?
The scrum
I like
too.
men.
Slows the game, bro.
Nah, I like it because
men
you know if
touching
the
each other.
teams utilize it properly and certain teams do,
Who?
I think it's effective, bro. Like you just mentioned now, you said that they
Oh,
when
that-
they went through
in
scrums,
terms of that,
it
yeah.
created an attack opportunity. You know what I
thing.
mean?
But
It mixes the game because otherwise it's just going to be AFL now.
It's entertainment. That's what it is. It's all about entertainment, man.
but in terms of leaving the scrum, of course they should be penalised. Fuck, you're there for a reason. You want to run out before the ball comes out of the other side. You're not supposed to anyway.
No, they should implement proper
Yeah,
scrum rules.
but
Like you got to engage properly and whatnot. Like you got to go in hard and contest for the ball. So it's even though if it's out by one team, it's not given to the opposition to feed it into their side of the thing. Ref should feed in the ball to the scrum, fight for it. You know what I mean?
Start punching each other and shit.
Yeah, they should. I mean, how entertaining was the second game of Origin when
When New South Wales won.
no when
Of course
Thing
entertaining.
bashed that other kid. Was it Tino?
Payne Haas.
Yeah, Payne Haas bashed him.
That's arguable. But
Nah, my bias is going straight to. Nah, Payne Haas had him all day.
All right, let's try another one here. What's this one? What are we looking at? Players who break the 10-meter offside rule will give away 6 more tackles as opposed to a penalty.
yeah, I like that. Speed the game
I
up.
like that.
I'm all
But
for speeding the
bro,
game
how
up.
many at a game? How many times are we screaming offside? You know what I mean? Half these refs are blind, or they're just ignoring the fact that
Bro,
they're 1 foot off the line.
That's a linesman's job, but
Exactly.
like, how hard is it to be a linesman? All you got to do is every reset a tackle, make sure everyone's 10 meters back. The ref's back there anyway.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree on that. And that's why we're always yelling off to
And,
the side.
and it's good because, once again, I feel like these rules every year introduced to just bring
Because this is
Melbourne
the only
down.
game, like, as much as I love NRL, this is the only game that has every year it has a certain change of rules.
Premier League has that.
Do they? I
Yeah,
didn't know.
but I don't think it's
Because it's not the full
vital
like, yeah.
rules. Like, if you don't watch rugby league for 3 years, you won't understand the game. It's like a different sport. Oh,
Yeah,
what? They're
yeah.
like, there's only 8 players on the field now.
The major changes, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Like,
agree.
they're big changes. But what were we talking about?
The 10 meter rule. As
Yeah,
opposed to
I
NRL.
agree.
6 again.
Like, because once again, I was saying, like, you know how they brought in that quick tap 6 again rule? They were talking about how this was to make it harder for Melbourne. They still become premiers. But Melbourne, when they give away a lot of offside tackles, just like to give their team a breather. So it's going to hit those teams hard. And sort of like a double-ended sword here because, bro, you're too tired, so you're not onside, and then you're gonna have to like move quickly to tackle another 6 sets. So I think it's a good rule.
Yeah, it's a good rule. It gives into those teams that continually fuck
Stay
up.
offside.
Yeah,
But
stay
what
offside.
about kicking for touch then? You sort of kicking for touch is a major advantage, man. If you're giving 6 again quick tap penalties for offside, then you're missing out on that massive ground. You're missing.
I guess
taking a kick for touch.
it gives teams an opportunity to sit down and go, all right, look, these new rules are being implemented. Let's go through what we can do. I mean, it sets up opportunities. You know what I mean? I wish Brad Arthur was the same as like what's his name in Melbourne?
Craig Bellamy.
Craig Bellamy, bro. Every year he's got an answer for something.
Craig Bellamy right now just looking at these rules and going,
Because,
all right,
bro, like.
Smith, come here.
No, I don't
How do
think
we-
it's
how do we-
even
how do we
that. I
exploit
think
this?
he's just at home and he's just sitting down. Yeah, all right. And I reckon he's just watching all of this season's games and be like, yep, oh, Isofaloma, yep, yeah, fucking drop that ball. That he's gonna do. All he's gonna do is just catch balls at training. You know what I mean? Because like that's genuinely what I think he is as a coach. Like I think the guy just lives and breathes football.
It's got to be annoying, but do you remember when? Look, these are definitely good rules. What was that? The chicken wing tackle? It was the penalty was
cuz,
given
like,
to get rid of Melbourne.
Yeah.
Crusher tackle, Melbourne.
Melbourne.
Offside rule, Melbourne. It's just like, bro, let's just throw everything at Melbourne. They'll still be premiers, unfortunately.
Billy
Because
Slater kicking her when he was jumping for the balls and shit.
Yeah, yep.
It's all Melbourne. It's Melbourne rules.
Good on him, bro. As much as I hate those pricks,
They've dominated a
because like they've done,
generation.
like
of-
bro, you got to give it to them. You got to give respect where it's due.
No,
You know what I mean? They killed
totally
it.
agree. The one rule that I absolutely effing hate, the bunker will review replays after the referee awards an on-field try, and a conversion cannot be taken until the video officials give the green light. I think that rule there is gonna be the benchmark of hatred.
It
this
defeats
season.
the purpose of the bunker. The bunker was put there to make quick decisions.
exactly.
Video refs
I
were
know.
taking too long,
Now
and they're
they're
like, "Hey,
backtracking.
let's give them more time to
Yeah,
make a
they're
decision."
backtracking.
No, for me, it's not that. For me, okay, I get it. When the video ref goes on, blah, 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 video ref looks at it. Sorry, the referee goes to video ref, he looks at it. All right? For me, it's more this. Okay, so what's the ref there for? Do you know what I mean? The ref goes, I awarded a try based on what I saw. Okay, the bunker's going to go,
Just
okay.
confirm it.
Yeah, it's literally VAR.
Yeah.
It's literally
Yeah.
VAR. Don't worry about the ref making, like, this. The game's built on mistakes in a way.
You know what
Do
it
you know
is?
what I mean? As bad as that sounds, it's built on mistakes.
Valandi had a killer year, and now it's just fizzling out.
No, I don't think it's that.
Yeah.
I think it's just more. These are test things, you know what I mean? Like these guys will always amend their shit. They're going to amend the rules. They're going to realize certain fans are going to hate this, or they're going to just more. Let's just see what they think. Okay, but this one. It's going to be so stupid. I reckon it's going to slow down the game even more, especially to the point where it's where the ref awards a try and you know those tries where starts from 100 meters back and then
and then they go to it's a forward pass like 90 meters up from
90
where the
meters
try was
back, but the
taken.
ref goes, I
Yeah,
don't
but
care because
the ref didn't call or anything.
Yeah.
But what about the ref when he goes to video ref? Every year, a new statement gets out, and all right, I need you to check the forward pass on the third tackle, and then the kick on it, and check that they're onside, and check the grounding, and check to see if there's no obstruction, and check to see if there's no hookers on the road because we've got fucking escorts now. And like, bro.
What?
just
we're talking about NRL, yeah?
Right?
Yeah, I'm like, you're confusing me now.
But do we get to a stage where we just fuck the ref off and we do like a virtual referee? The guy sits in the box and just watches.
No,
the
you know
game
what
on
they
the
should
TV
do?
and makes the calls.
They should implement a system on the seat, a red and blue button, and be like, have the crowd.
Home team never loses.
By Bankwest, every decision is a green light.
You're going to start seeing all these away supporters just suddenly randomly.
You know what's going to happen is that
Yeah, bro, you
exactly.
increase the attendance. Beautiful.
Home supporters are going to look at him and be like, "We're watching you, cunts. You better hit that red fucking button."
And your mate agrees, like, no, it's not. Don't look at my answer. But like, no, I think this is just going to slow the game, man, like massively. Because
it's a stupid rule. I think it's like we're all agreeing that it's stupid.
Is it that? There's no point of it if it's gone to video ref. If it was the other way where it's like an on-call, like a referee on-field call, and video ref steps in, then I'd understand to like fix that mistake that the on-field referee made. But to fix your own mistake in the first place, like what the hell?
See, for me, and I could be the unpopular opinion today on this. For me, the bunker should always be the specific event of what the ref is unsure about. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
For me, like the one thing I hate about the bunker is this, okay? Try goes down. The ref goes, I'm unsure about the sideline. Okay? Then the bunker, they look at the sideline, then they look at the ball grounding, then they'll look at, this happened back to you. Like, if the ref goes, okay, I'll give you a better example here. The ref goes, can you check if there's an obstruction? Okay? Sweet, that's it. The bunker should go, the ref's happy with everything, they just want me to look at this.
Yes.
That's my job.
I agree.
Yeah.
Don't go, look at the obstruction. Now we're going to look at the sideline. Now we're going to look at, grounding. It's just like, man, what's the ref there for?
Exactly. And bro, what about this? Like, I find this really, really confusing because these rules change so much, as we said. But there's a kick and they're checking for obstruction, and he's like, he did 3 cartwheels on his right shoulder, so he's not obstructing. Like, what the fuck, bro? He clearly takes the guy out. Taking a guy out is taking a guy out. Yeah. Like, I don't care if he's running on the inside or the left side or the right side of whose shoulder. Bro, if you're taking a player out, it's taking a player out. And you know what? Like, I know that I'm not the only one confused because the amount of times the commentators are drop-jawed after a decision is made is like, what the hell, bro? That is 100% obstruction.
No, I agree, man. 100% agree. Another one, a player must be taken off the field for at least 2 minutes if a trainer asks the referee to stop play because of
I agree.
injury.
Best rule, bro.
I actually like this.
That is a great rule, man, because so many teams go, like, so many games, I can't say it was Parramatta games, but so many games were stopped as the team was going into position to attack.
The break of momentum.
Yeah, and it just kills everything.
No, I
perfect.
100% agree. Like, especially, but for me, it's more, okay. Now, this is where I'm going to call it the Melbourne exploits.
I was going to say this,
you know
yes.
what I mean? How do you look at this and say, what is an injury?
Don't care as they said, if the trainer's gone like this, ref, stop. Nah, continue playing until it stops, and then go, all right, stop where you're going to play the mark, and then go, fuck off, get the fuck off the field, and then go, all right, continue. We don't give a fuck what happened. I don't care if your head knocked, because there's already a system implemented to go. Exactly. So fuck off to the inside. Go get your test done. Stop fucking around with the game, you cocksuckers.
Okay, so do you think cramp is injury?
No, I think, you know what? They should be heavy-handed and go, look, warning, fucking cramp up again, and you're going to fucking get off the game.
Tell your body to fucking
bro.
electrolytes.
Come on, bro. Like, bro, Kenny Edwards was a famous cramper. Like, bro, and we knew it was bullshit because every game he was doing it.
But that was the momentum breaker. Those were the times when you're like, I'm playing the ball and I'm going to take my sweet ass time getting up.
I think a team, not even an individual, should be warned, all right, that's enough. If you're cramping up, get off. Simple.
Yeah. I agree.
Simple
I agree.
cuz.
Like, stop going on the ground. I think it happened in the grand final where Melbourne once again, their player was like 40 meters behind the line, and they stopped the game.
Yeah,
for
they
him.
stopped
Like,
the game.
Bro, get your trainer out there. There's no one within a 40-meter vicinity anyway.
Grab him, pick him up, or drag
take
him
on
off.
the sideline. All right, if you're gonna do your thing, do it there. But there's no one near him. It's fine.
Yeah.
Don't stop the game.
Like, cuz it's a different story if the guy's out cold. You know.
Oh yeah, and you got to get to him in safety and make sure he's all right.
Obviously, yeah.
That's a different
but
thing.
if he's gone, oh my knees hurts, like bro.
But once again, you know what's gonna happen? It's like, oh, we thought it was a cramp, but actually his ACL tore. You know what I mean? Like,
I think there's a big difference between an ACL tear and a cramp, bro.
yeah. I know. But bro,
I know what you're trying to say.
But the on-field referee is gonna look. He's holding his knee or whatever. Like, all right, not an ACL, but he's torn his calf off. You know what I mean? And he's like, oh, it just looks like it's a cramp. Go on. And then teams are gonna be like, you didn't stop the play. We couldn't get our trainer out there, and this guy's suffering with like a torn calf. You know what I mean? Like,
I think you got to just accept it because this is a contact sport. In the end of the day, people are going to get injured.
I know, but I'm
you know,
talking in terms of first aid, bro. You want to get to that person as soon as possible to work out what's wrong with them.
Yeah,
gonna-
it's a bit of an open-ended one.
Exactly. It just comes down to what the referee interprets it as. So it's a hard call.
I think what's going to happen is the moment there's a slip up by a ref, every team's going to start using it. I think that's what they're waiting for. Do you know what I mean? It's going to be one of those things where everyone's going to come out and say, it's not clear enough. Okay, define, like, if it's to stop cramps, do you determine that as an injury? Do you know what I mean? Like, because most of the time, it's that's what's breaking up momentum. It's the cramps, or
Hey,
a
how
player's
about
down and
stretch
they just hold
properly?
they just hold their knees up. You don't know what's wrong with them. Then it's obvious. Like, you can see the trainer knows there's nothing wrong. It's like, yeah, but just sit down for a little bit.
Just sit down. Yeah. Look, Cameron's still breathing heavy. Like, just a couple more minutes. Like,
Yeah, and then he's gonna put his boot up in the air and then be like, ref, I can't do anything. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just gonna be one of those grey areas where all of these rules, the moment one ref slips up and allows it in the game, then everyone's gonna go, well, it happened in that game. How come I can't do it in this game?
okay, last year you guys followed the rugby league really, really close. Is there a need for these changes?
Yes.
Which one?
You mean all of them? I thought you
Yeah,
meant
like I'm talking in
the
general.
injury one.
Like, did the rugby league not work well enough without these laws, these rules being changed?
I think last year was pretty good. It depends on the rule that you're talking about. Do you know what I mean? Me personally, the 2-point field goal as a rule is entertainment. It is definite 150%.
Because it could be just a
entertainment.
trial, man. Like, they're probably just going to go, see how it goes a few games, and then
Yeah.
we'll cut it out.
It's
If
like-
it's
it's
not
like a
working
Could be a
out.
season.
But then again, because I don't think, unless teams are going, all right, that's it, we're going to start training for 40-meter kicks, drop kicks.
Or they're
Different
gonna have
story.
to.
They will.
All
Every
right,
team's going to train for it.
okay, but like you mentioned, it just cuts out conversions.
Not really. It's
Because instead of going, you know what, I'll just kick the ball, like just give it to Mays, keep kicking the ball. Why do we need to keep going through the middle to create a try
Right,
when
and yeah,
Ruckers
nah,
get
but
2
you're
points?
you
Because, bro,
No, but
no. This
you're-
is coming from you guys always
you're
screaming,
under-
take the tier, take the tier. Yeah, what happened?
But and this
one
is what,
instance. That was one fucking instance.
I'll hold this for the rest of my life.
this is what I was saying to you about Union. If you watch Union, bro, more field goals
Yeah.
are kicked than tries because in
Yeah.
Union they're 3 points.
I get that, but that's what the play system is built on that. Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean? That's the way that they run the sport. Do you know what I mean? It's like the NFL. Do you know what I mean? Like, they can always take the punt because they know it's automatic easy points for them. But with the NRL, if you can't compare the
You don't
field
get
goal,
points off a punt, by the way.
whichever one's the one
Conversion.
that's the one.
Yep.
It's when it comes down to the NRL, you're talking about conversions, but we're not talking about every conversions being on the sideline.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Now, if you're down by 8, think about this. You're down by 8. You now have a chance to get in the game. For the first time
4
ever,
kicks.
you have a chance to get in the game
Yeah.
without
You shouldn't have been out of the game in the
this
first
is
place.
perfect
No, but it
for
happens. It
Eels,
happens.
because this is perfect for us.
The
This,
rules
this,
are built
this
for
rule
us.
is for us.
Nah, it really is.
Bro, because
Nah.
it's sometimes like we've got hectic attack and we're just going in, repeat sets, and it's like, bro, like, are these guys gonna score you? You're like, bro, 100% they're gonna score you. Repeat. It's been the third repeat set and it's nothing. It just dies, bro. Whereas
But,
Moses
bro,
can
you
go,
know
you know
why
what?
it's
Give me the ball.
The other way around, we hold teams on our line all game as well.
Yeah, and we still lose.
So I don't think it adds enough to the game to bring it in.
I'm telling you, it's entertainment.
Yeah, we
The,
got
mo-
nothing.
the moment the first game goes down to the wire and a 2-point field goal scores the winner, it's just entertainment.
It's gonna be entertainment because every 4 minutes the crowd's gonna be like, yeah, like in a conversion, how you get happy, yeah, and fireworks are gonna go off, and it's gonna be like, yeah, Mitchell Moses conversion 2 points.
Yeah, but you got to keep in mind, man. The moment they miss that, they are fucked.
I'm happy with this rule until the Eels get affected by it. That's all I'm gonna say.
Every
word.
rule is good unless it's against our team.
Until we lose by it, I'm happy.
And if we lose by it, again, it's our fault. It is our fault.
Then they need to change the rules.
Get rid of the rules in favor of us. Oh, look, we're just going to have to wait and see, man, because when's the NRL back? April, February?
March.
Something like that.
Cannot wait.
And that'll come back.
4 months. Or 4.5 months.
Yeah.
Counting down, mate. Counting down, crossing those days out.
In the meantime, I still got Premier League. Just a shout out to some of our supporters that follow the Champions League. Yeah.
Oh, what about talking about things? Did you hear the game that got postponed?
Yeah, well, I was gonna get to that in a second, but we want to bag out Man United.
We can sort of connect it to this because they were in the same group. So, fortunately, Man United enjoy the Europa League. Have fun. Enjoy it with Arsenal. With the what game was it? PSG Istanbul Başakşehir. Okay.
Racist.
Is it? Is it though?
What did he say exactly? Quote
This is the problem.
Yeah.
That's why I'm asking.
He was such a salty. Was it the coach?
Who, Webbo? Yeah, Webbo.
Webbo. He's saying, okay.
Why'd you say that black guy? Like,
he's saying
no, something negro.
Yeah, he said he called him negro.
No. It was something negro. Was it?
He's saying because the guy admitted it. He said
Racist.
I called him negro. He goes the color. He goes that's it. He goes because in our language
Racist.
negro is a color.
French?
Romanian. Okay. And then he's going okay. And I get.
Can't be French.
I get what he's trying to say there. Okay. I get but then what Dembaba said makes sense as well. He said, if you're calling out someone, he goes, you wouldn't say this white guy.
Hey, white guy.
Yeah.
Hey, white man.
True. That's a good point.
That's true.
Bro, like out of all the things to call him, you called him black. Surely in your mind you're going, this could be bad.
Yeah. And now there's another thing. Again, this is all going to be his, unless you have this on tape or unless you have it recorded, which every official is mic'd up. Okay, so this isn't a 2-second where, we have to look at his lips and did he say this and that. No. Every official is mic'd up and every game is recorded.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you go back, now the other rumor is that someone within the Başakşehir team was referring to the Romanian the official as a gypsy.
Okay.
Okay.
There's two racist things being said.
Two racist things. Whether one came before the other, I think there's just going to be a further investigation.
Hasn't FIFA sacked him?
FIFA, I think, has stood him down. Okay.
Yeah, stood him down.
Actually, not FIFA.
You know what I reckon?
UEFA, yeah.
I reckon he was just calling all black fellas Negroes, and then he just copped the wrong guy, and then it just turned into.
But bro,
But in this day and age, you wouldn't do that.
No, like put yourself in the official. If you were gonna say that player and you had to label him, you'd say the away team player, or like like the assistant coach, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You
But like,
wouldn't label.
I'm just thinking out loud. I was like,
look,
he must have been Negro to like 5-6 other guys in another game, and then he just copped the wrong guy.
Obviously in the sport, Webber is an assistant manager, I think, for Başakşehir. So you can't refer to him as a number, which is what you would normally refer to.
Yeah.
Who did it? Number 5, number 4. You got to give yellow card to this player. That makes sense. It should be the assistant manager of this team,
or the away team,
or one of the staff of this team.
Yep.
If he's called him negro, it's a genuine. Again, it falls down to your intention, man. Again, considering everyone's kneeling every freaking game now in the Premier League, surely you would think, hey, maybe I won't call him by his colour. Do you know what I mean? Like for me personally, this is probably another unpopular opinion now, and I'm probably going to get fucking shambolic for this. I'm not a fan of the kneeling. Okay,
Me
I genuinely
neither.
am not. I was happy with it at the beginning. Why? Because it showed awareness. Okay, now everyone's aware. So what are you doing? Nothing.
Making them more aware.
Reinforcing the idea,
we're
mate.
reinforcing
Are
our
you
needs.
fucking getting it? Like, fuck.
We're wearing the knee. But it's more like, okay, like everyone can put their knee on the floor, okay, and then you forget about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Doesn't
Like, what are you
stop
doing
nothing.
afterwards? What are you trying to help? Like, if there's a certain amount of players that are actually doing their part, you're looking at players like Marcus Rashford, who's helping out with children and all that type. The guy was actually nominated for British personality or something like that.
He was going to get knighted or something.
His name's probably in consideration for that, like whatever it is. But now it's like, oh, everyone's kneeling. Okay, then what?
I agree with you. Look, I don't think I'm against the kneeling, but it's like, okay, that's where it begins.
Yeah.
And
So what now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. But it was beautiful coming back to the game that the PSG players, Neymar, especially, put on social media that we will not be, whether the officials want to continue this game, we don't want to play the game.
Yeah.
As long as there's
cocks.
like this
Soft
racial
cocks,
stuff.
bro.
No, I think it's
Nah,
beautiful.
it's good.
It's a good thing. The team could have been like, look, bro, you guys want to be a sook or you want to forfeit this game? Like, we're ready to play. But they sort of united, even though, you're rivals in that game. And they said, we're not going on as long as this is happening.
See, the good thing was, especially the Başakşehir players, they came on. You had Mehmet Topal. As he was leaving, he was saying, it's like, this is not part of the game. He goes, you can't. He goes, we don't want you. We don't want to play if you're here. Like, they're literally saying that as they're walking off.
Yeah.
And it was good for, to be honest, like, I get it,
Drama queens.
I get it that Başakşehir players were,
No, they were getting pumped, so they're like, you know what, we
it
need
was
to
nil
get out
all.
of this.
It was nil all
Yeah.
at the
They
time.
still lost 5 something,
That's
didn't they?
that's the next. That's the.
They just-
That's the day after. But they were always destined to lose that game.
Of
It's
course.
PSG at the end of the day. But it was more along the lines of, okay, you have, like, this wasn't a 2 second division team. This was Champions League football that this is happening. This is like the top tier of club football, pretty
Yep.
much. And you have players who are on, like, you got your Mbappes and your Neymars and stuff, literally coming to a stand saying, this isn't right. You shouldn't be calling him out like this.
Especially when every third banner is say no to racism on the
Yeah,
field.
bro. Don't you think by now, especially football, bro, it's a global game, you think they would have, like, these issues would be avoided? You know what I mean? Like,
But this it falls down to individual. Like, you have a look at, what game was it? It was in the EFL. It's QPR versus Millwall. Now Millwall. I don't know if you guys know Millwall at all.
I hate them.
Mill-
United.
Millwall fans are considered like the top tier of hatred of everything. You know what I mean? Like, they are anti almost everything. When everyone started, the first time that they were allowed, was it 2,000 supporters or whatever it was? The moment they started kneeling. Now again, we don't know their intentions. We don't know why they were booing, but I'm guessing we can join the dots. The moment they kneeled,
racist.
they booed. They literally booed. And it's known for their fans to do this. Okay? To the point where when QPR scored, they ran to their Millwall supporters and they kneeled and they did this. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's that point.
Exciting.
So, kneel all you want. It's still going to happen.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? And this is what I was trying to get at. All that kneeling, we had almost a full season of last season when it was on lockdown and all that type of stuff. And everyone was seeing it. Everyone was aware. Now you have fans coming in. Eventually, there's going to be people that's going to be, I'm sick of this, or I'm not supportive of this,
Yeah.
which means they're obviously racist.
Your inner racist is coming
wanna
out.
take
That's all I'm
action.
saying, right?
You want to take action after the kneeling, right? An official who's at Champions League level, okay, is not just your normal park footy referee, right? These guys, obviously, they get taught how to communicate with people, what words to use, how to refer to it. Obviously, they're going through this, right? If you want to take action, and if this guy has admitted to saying the word Negro, dude, you get him off your UEFA referee list or your officials list.
And you
right?
hang him.
There's your action.
Kill him.
Because, like you said, bro, Neymar, Mbappe, all of them could have kneeled, okay? He's still going to be refereeing or being an official at another game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you want to take action, you get rid of him.
And that's what I'm trying to say, as in, like, that type of action is what's necessary, which is what I reckon will happen after the investigation.
They can't call it
They can't call it
unfairly.
like, oh, this guy said it, therefore we're going to sack everyone. But I'm trying to get at more like, okay, the ref did that. Okay, now we're talking about the second tier of English football, which these guys are, it's not a small division. Do you know what I mean? Like, these are considered teams where they can give certain teams in other countries a run for their money.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Now, you got fans booing that. Do you know what I mean? Then what do? Do you go and ban the entirety away section of Millwall, or you ban Millwall from, do you punish the club? Do you punish the fans? Like, there's no set rules for this now.
I agree
Yeah,
with
but like, I'm so against, and this happens in the Turkish league so much, right? Is that fans do something stupid and the club gets punished for it? It's like, what do you want them to do? How do you police that?
That's so true.
How do you police that?
No, the only reason why that happens is when it's at a home game. Okay, so I'll give you an example. So say these Millwall fans now, they were away to QPR.
Yeah.
Now, there's not much that the club can do about this.
In Turkey, the away teams get done as well.
See, in my opinion, that's stupid.
Even the home team, bro. How do you police what 40,000 fans are doing inside your stadium?
It falls down to what the club needs to do. So if the club turns around and says, okay, you know what, we're going to do this, and this, or where it's going to go, okay, we're going to have to ban whoever was there.
Yeah, that exactly. And this is where
I know it's a shit rule, but...
The rugby league did really well. Do you remember the coining incident that happened at Parramatta Stadium? Right?
No.
Okay, so
Yeah,
they
I
were
do.
coining Manly players, if
Yep,
I'm not
yep.
wrong. They
Good
were
on-
throwing coins at their
That's what you call a
station.
fan, bro.
Bro,
Sick cunts.
The NRL went, okay, these are season ticket holders, right? These are members. We can try and isolate which area that it was coming from. And then I don't know how they did the investigation.
They
whether
must
it was
have
for
asked them, look, is it
interview.
you? Otherwise, if you don't tell us, you're all getting banned.
Yeah, exactly. And they
it
singled
just
out
took
those
one
people and
snitch.
just banned them. Now that guy's in witness protection and he lives in a caravan.
Now he's a St. George supporter. But like that, yeah, this whole racism thing.
I know.
In my opinion, okay, look, I'm going for a broader range here, okay, and this is where it comes down to every single topic. And I'm probably Mr. Unpopular right now. Racism. You got your, and I'm going very broad here. You got your domestic violence issues across the board where people need to be more domestic, but there's no solution for it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? People go, oh, we need to raise more awareness for domestic violence. Okay. But I've seen so many articles where people raise that their boyfriends or some fans is literally beating their wives to a pulp. They don't want to press charges.
Yeah.
Done. It's literally over.
It's harder though because domestic violence happens in such a private space.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a private space. So
And you never know the full story because you never hear, the truth never comes out and you never know what the woman actually deserved to get
Well,
beaten.
what do you-
Sometimes women bash the men. Those men get bashed.
There's actually a small percentage of there
yeah,
is.
the women bash the women.
And you know
cuz.
what? I go for the men, bro. In all day, I'm gonna stick by the men.
I stick by whoever's right.
Nah,
I'm-
men
I'm-
all the way,
Domestic violence, Australia says no.
unless they deserve it. No, joke.
Oh, you know.
Joking.
But like, that's what I'm trying to say. As in more like, there's no solution for this.
Yeah.
How do you tell someone, hey, you can't hate this?
Yeah.
Or, hey, you can't do this?
But you know what? At the same time, I don't know if you guys saw the video that's gone viral the last couple of weeks where a guy is being very racist on a train and he gets king hit by
No.
3 African... I think they're African. It's in America, African American. So this guy is being racist on the train,
That's a
and
normal
these
day in
people
America, bro.
pull out the phones and they start recording him. And these people, obviously through awareness of something, right? Whether it was in the education system, whether it's these people kneeling, or whether it's like, you know, some sort of awareness, these people stood up for these 3 people. And they're like, you can't talk to them like that. You're a racist. And eventually he keeps going and going and going. He bridges up to him and the guy knocks him out, right? And the crowd actually applauds him for doing it. So in a sense, the only thing you really can do is raise awareness. You want to talk about domestic violence, bro? You know what? It's scary, and I wish May was here because she could tell us about her little... What does she do?
She's a psychic.
She's a psychic.
Yeah.
Bro, a lot of people who are in abusive domestic relationships can't even recognize abuse, right? They think it's normal for my husband to yell at me. It's normal for my wife to hit me. So to raise awareness... Yes, it works to a certain point, but I totally do agree with you.
But it's a start, cuz.
It's a start, yeah. Like that's, bro. You leave someone in the desert, you leave them a bottle of water. It's like that's the minimum we're gonna give you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you got to sort of like get out and get help on your own, or like seek help on your own. So raising awareness, I'm not dumbing it down. There's definitely
There's
a
good
big
programs
importance.
out there,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. And we talked about the men's health and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Just us talking about it, I had a lot of people tell me that it's raised awareness for them. So awareness to a certain point, but if you're just raising awareness and there's no actual action being taken by people in higher power, then there's really no point of it.
If it falls down to so many sectors, I think there's like the media does this whole thing where it's like they have their own segments on the news and on the ads and stuff. It's like domestic violence, or when it's racist or sexism or blah blah blah. When it goes down that avenue, it's more like raise awareness, and it's like people are raising their awareness. There's just not one probably doing anything about it
That's
properly.
right. That's right.
Do you know what I mean? Or the fear. Do you know what I mean? Like I came across a story the other day. It's like, okay, raise awareness, and again, I'm broadening the scale here, where they have like the raising awareness part for say sex offenders. Okay,
Yeah.
the guy moved 50 meters from a school.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Like that's the type of program
yeah.
that these guys have. The guy's registered as one. The guy
Nah, you know
rented
what?
one as his own place. And
But see, that's a separate issue because the only solution for that is they should be chemically castrated. Sex offenders.
But what I'm not talking about that from in general. I'm talking about there is a I can't stop laughing. There is a system for it.
Yeah.
But at
Do you
the
know what I
same
mean?
time,
And it failed.
bro, we talked about rugby league and these rules being thing. Bro, there's always a loophole. Bro, there's people on welfare who say they have like they're married, they're not even married, or like they're divorced and they're not even divorced.
De
Like
facto.
there's people who are married and they say that they're divorced, but they're still living together. Do you know what I mean? Like
that's
there's
lying.
always a loof. Yeah, there's still. But these people who are moving next to a school, they're not renting under their own name.
No, this one was.
Okay, well that's blatantly stupid.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's more along the
But
lines.
see, no one's really enforcing it.
That's
because
right. That's
You know what I
exactly
mean?
what Inan just said there. It's about how actually, like, how monitored are these scenarios to begin with.
Yeah.
Okay, let's put away the sex offender thing. How many, when it comes to domestic violence or when it comes to racism, and like let's talk about the UEFA incident as well. Who's the panel of deciding this? Do you know what I mean? Are we talking about 2-3 people are going to go, okay, this is the decision that we made, that's it? Imagine that guy ends up going, you know what? Because of the language he uses is his own language, we're going to give it a pass.
yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, imagine that happens.
So then we can say, for example, when the word Turkish is zenci to every, and it's still racist.
Yeah.
You don't refer to someone by their skin color because, well, you never go, oh, that yellow man did it, or that slightly tan man did it. Like it's
Homer
only
Simpson.
it's only black people who are targeted by those adjectives.
No, I agree. Like, hopefully there is a more, what's the word I'm looking for? A better system.
Bro,
that can
I comment on something else? Bro, how shallow do you have to be that someone calls you a negro? A word. Like, we that affected that a word now, like, you can't go to sleep or something? Like, are we at this point in the world or in society that, you know, people are being, like, the guy didn't go out, oh, you're or something. He just said negro. Bro, there's a chocolate company or there's a cookie in Turkey, packet of cookie that's called negro.
which is technically the color.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like,
But at the same time, bro,
are we becoming too sensitive?
Imagine like I can imagine you as a hot-headed person, right? If every time you went out, and this has been happening for hundreds of years, like that Muslim bloke, that Muslim bloke, that Muslim bloke.
That's what I am.
So,
I'm
but like that's a very shallow way of thinking when you're
Yeah.
thinking what is underlying in what he's calling me. Do you know
well,
what I mean?
if you don't like it,
what are you trying to say? It would annoy me after a while if someone was saying,
yeah, because like, but it's not like he's constantly getting negro. Oh, yeah, I agree. I see what you're saying.
It's more along the lines, why do you use it to begin with?
exactly, there's no
That's
point
true.
of it.
But see,
You know what
in
I mean?
Europe, I'm the only reason you mentioned that he was Romanian, and I mentioned the cookie product Negro. It's pretty much a rip off of Oreo, Turkish style.
Yeah.
And like Emma mentioned, it's Turkish. We call black people zenjis. I don't think it's racist, but they
Yeah,
it's not really. It's not like.
But there's no point of it as well. It's a way of labeling, saying like you're black, which means you're not white. Do you know what I mean? Like
Exactly. Like if people are calling, like, I don't know, what's a racist term for white people?
But it's not, it's...
white.
milk powder.
What's that? What? No, cook? Is cook?
Coon.
Coon is Aboriginal.
Coon?
No, isn't it?
Coon is Aboriginal.
There's something for when they refer to him as
I know
white.
what you're talking about. Oh my
I've seen it in
god.
a
Where
video.
is
Rick
my
and
inner
Morty.
racist?
Rick and Morty says, you white, and he can't even find something racist to say about him.
you white rich man who controls the banks. But no, look, in my opinion, this is football. It's not hard to say that he's system manager or refer to them as their position that they play or their number to begin with.
Yep.
So for me to come out and say, it's like in your own industry, you get singled out by your not your nationality, but your ethnicity, your religion, or by your skin color in a position where you can be easily identified as the guy in that truck. Do you know what I mean? Or that gentleman that's walking here, or the gentleman with the red hat, or the gentleman with the blue shirt. Like, do you know what I mean? It's
Like the Negro gentleman.
yeah, do you know what I mean? It's like it's like that Negro guy that's wearing the red hat. It's like, okay, you just said
I
red
don't know,
hat.
it's hard for me to understand. Like, I'm putting up these.
You're white.
No, not that, but bro, I'm not racist, dude. I have many friends. I have a diverse friendship
You know what it
with
is
a
as
lot
well,
of people.
bro? In Australia, we're a little bit sheltered from this. Like, I'm not saying
Yeah,
that
yeah,
racism
that
doesn't happen.
too.
It's because we're so multicultural that, dude, we're
Yeah.
racist every day at work, but no one takes offense to it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
that's
Like,
true.
they're racist towards me, or like, I'm not saying the current place that I'm working at, but it's happened in a work environment before, or whatever. And like, we sort of like understand that it wasn't done in a hurtful way. It's just, you just shrug it off. And it's an Australian thing. It's like,
Yeah.
bro, like, who cares? You know?
And I think that falls down to your social standing with that person.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
someone can
that's
come
true.
up to you and say, like,
Let's give an example.
or you white this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you can be like, hey, how you going, man? You know what I mean? But then a completely random person says to him, like, is this guy serious?
Yeah, exactly.
So
That
in
makes-
an Australian in the Australian culture context, that makes sense. I think it's more where we're so diverse that when we make certain friends within certain groups, the sense of jokes which can be seen as racism is not really a heavy effect on us.
Yeah.
Because we understand the difference of what a friendship is and what context he's saying it in.
Yeah, and in Webo's case, the assistant, the
Webo.
official is not his friend in
Webo,
any way.
What a
But
funny
yeah,
name.
look, at the end of the day, we're gonna have to just wait and find out. They got the also just on the Champions League. They got the Champions League draw on our Tuesday or our Friday or Monday
What was
night.
the result
sorry.
for Liverpool? They played yesterday, didn't they?
Liverpool drew 1-1, but they were already
We're
qualified.
in
so,
anyway.
yeah, so they played all their youngsters out.
But
so
Liverpool is the weirdest team. Like
Would
you pump Wolfsburg like 4-0, and then other teams you struggle against, and so up and down at the moment.
no, you're top of the.
But we are top of the league. We are smashing people, but it's just we drop points, or we're like, bro, we have no defenders left, and we're still smashing teams. Like, what the hell?
Liverpool.
That's the Klopp mentality, brother.
Yeah.
Just score more goals. than
Jurgen.
the other team. That's all that matters. man.
Jurgen Klopp.
But we're heavily on your cases, so
Jurgen
it's
Bergen.
been good. All right, boys. It's been good to having you guys.
Yeah, it was.
See you all next week. Actually, just on a small note, we reached 100 subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah, thanks to the boys at work. You know who's if you're watching. Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
And thanks to some of the girls at work as well. So
Yeah, I actually forced some boys. I just walked up to like some of the boys. I really talked and it's like, dude, can you do me a solid favor? And like, I tried to, create suspense when I asked the question. Like, bro, can you do me a big favor? And you can see their like eyes dropping. Like, oh fuck, what's this cunt gonna ask me now? And I was just like, bro, look, can you take some time out? Just grab your YouTube and just subscribe to my podcast.
And that message
please.
goes to those people who are watching this as well. If you're watching the end of it, look, I got 30 subscribers this week, and my jaw is sore as fuck. And I don't think I can do it anymore.
that penis enlargement therapy
Blech.
clearly is not
Yeah.
working because he's using his
No,
mouth.
physio's going hard.
Look, it's good. Thank you for you guys as well. If you guys have any comments or want us to do anything, let us know in the comments somewhere. YouTube and subscribe. Which subscribe should be there somewhere. So that should be all good. Boys, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
I'll see you guys
Thank you.
next week.
See yous.